All right. So like I said, this is very similar to what we discussed yesterday. We'll get to finish this one. What I have is I have two terms of a sequence, which basically means that I got a whole bunch of numbers out here, and then I have the 18th term, and then I got a bunch more numbers inside here, and then I have the 38th term, and then I got some more that follow. Everybody understand? So, what is in the 18th term? Okay? Do y'all agree with that? Haven't done anything miraculous, right? What's in the 38th term? Okay? So now then, we're told to write the explicit equation. Once again, it tells us that it's arithmetic. So therefore, I know that each arithmetic sequence is going to change up and down by adding some number. So I'm going to be adding D, adding D, adding D, adding D, adding D, 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 D. And what that's happening, and obviously I don't have enough dots to represent all the gaps in between, but that makes it arithmetic, is we have to find a common difference, and that common difference is being added to each term. Now, for those of you that said, well, I thought you said it had multiplication, it didn't. What do we call repeated addition? So instead of me having to do it, add, I can use the gap of going, oh, there's this many in there, so I'm multiplying by that number. That's repeated addition. However, each term is not changing from each term by multiplication. That's the difference. Now then, so what we got to do is if I'm supposed to write this, fill in what we know.
Well, you know what the 18th term is.
I know what the 18th term is, so therefore I can put an 18 right there for the number of the term. And what is the 18th term?
3,362.
Okay. What else do we know? And so can I use that to substitute in? So I have two unknowns, don't I? I don't know A1, and I don't know D. Do I have to know both of them to write this equation?
Yes.
Eventually, but if I have one of those, I can find the other, right?
Yeah.
So, how can I find A1? Subtract. I can subtract, but I would be going back each individual term, and I would have to subtract by the common difference.
And you don't know.
Who knows what the common difference is? So we don't know the common difference, so by finding the common difference, that will help us find A1, will it not? So let's look at how we can find the common difference. Okay? So then, there is a difference between this number and this number. How much?
1,000.
How'd you know how much it changed?
Because you subtract 703,362 from 3,362, you get 1,000. And then
So, what we got there is I say this is where I'm at, here's where I came from. We figured out how much something changed. Yes, ma'am?
Could you do that and then divide it by how many terms is in between it?
Beautiful. I just haven't gotten there yet. Okay? So, what this is saying is that those two things are changing by a total of 4,000. So there's a difference of 4,000 between those. Now, why are we dividing?
Because that's how many times is in between them.
That's how many different spaces is in there. How do I figure out how many spaces is in there?
The bottom.
No.
When you subtract 38 from 18.
Clearly. You act like that's nothing to it. I totally agree. I'm at the 38th term. So how do I know where I came from? How many spaces are in between there? So there are 20 terms in between there.
So then it's going to be 200.
Very simple. Very simple. Now, let's talk about why it's going to be 200. So what you're saying is that when I have a gap of a total of 4,000 numbers, and I have 20 spaces that I got to split that up evenly. Is this the amount of change in the A of n's? Amount of change in those?
No.
It's not the amount of change between 7362 and
Oh, yeah.
336? Yeah. Amount of change. I want you to listen to my terminology here. Is that the amount of change between this one and this one?
Yes.
Over the amount of change between this one and this one?
Yes.
No
Somebody said
connection?
yes.
No, you said yes. That's fine. Any connection between anything we've been taught for the past 2 weeks? The amount of change in... But we have the amount of change in the slope. Beautiful. The amount of change in one over the amount of change in the other. Right? Is slope. So is there an association between slope and common difference? Beautiful. Rise over run. I hear it over there. Okay? So now, I don't know about you. I don't want to rise 4,000 and move 20. But we can reduce that, can't we? Because you said very simply it's 200. So what's happening is this is saying it's shifting 4,000 between 20 places, or shifting 200 every one place. Right? So my common difference is 200. So now let's go back to what I plugged in. I still don't know this. Now, you're more than welcome to start at the 18th and subtract 217 times to get to A1. Be my guest as well. I'm going to use algebra. Okay? And so I'm going to use that. Since I know D, how many variables do I have as an unknown now? One of them. So we can solve for that one, can't we?
Absolutely.
So, see if I can get this right now. If I cover that up,
It's an expression, and you can only simplify.
we can only simplify expressions, so we work order of operations from? Very good, top to bottom. Even if you guessed, we got it right. Okay? So, A1, we look for parentheses. Do I have them?
Yes.
1,000%. What are they?
18 miles from home.
Which is?
17.
Don't you have to distribute?
Not. Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Do we distribute before we take care of parentheses? Or does that screw up our order of operations?
Oh!
Oh!
There's not an N in there, just kidding.
17 times 2 miles.
Now we got any exponents, because we're doing order of operations. Any exponents? She out of there. So we don't have exponents, we have multiplication. So here's my multiplication right there.
3,400.
Any adding and subtracting? Yes. Can I do anything with it though? No, because this is a variable, this is not. So now we're solving for A1. So since we solve, we use order of operations from bottom to top.
So don't you subtract them?
So we want to create a 0 right here because we have addition.
Can you get 38?
Okay? Almost. I don't get 38, I get its evil twin.
Negative 38. On the A1.
So we have A1. Now from there, once again, we have 3 ways we can write the answer if it's not told to us how it wants it done. I can write A of n equals negative 38. Let's go plus 200 parentheses n minus 1. Or A of n equals negative 38 plus n minus 1 times 200. Yes? Or we could do the simplified form, could we not? Okay, which I distribute the 200 through. And I'm going to get A of n equal to negative 38 plus 200n minus 200. Combine me O like terms. A of n equals 200 n minus 238. Yes?
Yes.
Yes!